Happy Tuesday, May 17th, and which means we are on the 17th day of this May for Mental Wellness Challenge. It is a daily challenge where we explore all the different modalities and ways and means that we can start to find more mental well-being in our everyday living, and start to find it on a daily basis. So we're going live every single day here to start to talk more about ways and means to well-being in this May challenge. So, all right, I've been jumping from literally Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting and have been beyond inspired today by clients, by a colleague of mine who I just went live with. Roz, you are the bomb. Just the conversations that we had and the mentoring group that I have in my coaching world inspired today. So what's the takeaway? We're going to talk about truth today and how do you live in your truth? Because if you're not living in your truth, you likely are finding that infamous word showing up in your world, dysfunction, or you are suffering. So you must root in your truth and get to know and get comfortable with your truth so that you can start to find overall well-being in every aspect of your life, your relationships, your personal and professional, your relationships with your children. So Roz asked me, I did a live with him, and he is the most amazing mentor and coach for teens and adolescents, and it's so needed. But his question to me was, Lauren, how do you find the time yourself, and what would you share with your clients the very first thing that they need to do in order to set aside time for their health and well-being? I said the first thing is that you have to give yourself permission to take that time out for yourself. Because if you don't, you're not serving anyone well. You're not being a quality parent, a quality spouse, a quality colleague or coworker. You have to take that time out for yourself in order to discover your truth. And you can't live life authentically and well if you don't sit in the honor of your truth. Oh, can I say truth again one more time? Are you living in your truth? So let's explore that on the mat through some movement so that you can start to find your truth. So yesterday we talked about support. We talked about the infamous ring of fire and how we use it to help, it helped me find support, but using props and using other, support systems to help you discover your truth. The foam roller is one of my next. So you know what? I'm going to bring out the foam roller today. I just happen to have it here, and we use it every day in this house. It is another must-have for every home and every office is a foam roller. So we're going to express ourselves on the mat with our foam roller today as we talk about finding your truth. So I'm going to have you just come onto your backs. You do not have to do this with the foam roller. You can just be here. I'm going to show you a few moves on the roller, and then I'm going to get off the roller and show you how you can start to do some movement without it to get the same effect. So as I talk about the truth, I'm going to start to find it in my body because it will come out in your body if you're not living in your truth. And that may seem out there for some of you listening, but it's not. It is not at all. Actually, is science. It is something that has been measured in terms of how if you're not living in your truth and you're inviting in, we'll use this, dysfunction, that's going to start to show up in your body as, stiffness, pain, as we talked about earlier in the challenge. I am just doing some extension here and some forward flexion. And so what am I doing here is I'm allowing my spine to start to gain more mobility and movement. So maybe a little random with my words. I've been truly kind of in a lot of heavy work mode today and lots of conversations. So they may be coming out quite randomly here. But as I have shared earlier in our challenge, is that a supple spine is going to give you a little bit more or a lot more freedom in every part of your life, especially in your body. Because again, if your body is locked down in pain, and if it's really rigid, you're going to have a rigid life. Like you're going to, it's going to show up as, being a hard and more difficult life. And we don't want that. I'm going to shift now to putting my sacrum on the roller. Okay, so now you can put your hands underneath your sacrum, or you can put a towel under your sacrum, which I have here. So if you need something to put under your hips to get a little bit of elevation, then go ahead and do so. So I'm going to bring my knees into my chest. Now this is just quite yummy, you guys, because what's happening now is that I am releasing any possible tension that would be in my lower back. Now, I don't know of a single person out there that has not experienced back pain. We know that back pain has been a leading cause for disability and job dysfunction can come from a lot of back pain. So we want to keep our spine and our back nice and healthy. All right, so I just am hugging here. This is just to release my back. I'm going to shift here to a table position, and I'm going to attempt some motion in my lower abdominal region to allow me to get a little bit more connect and lift. It's like I'm doing a pelvic curl on top of this roller. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this because it's starting to, as I said, activate my lower core muscles, but it's also starting to, again, expand my back. But it's also, you guys, working my spine. And so, as I said, we aim to gain a very supple and, just juicy spine, because when our spine is free and flowing, you're going to find that expressed in, number one, your body in a healthy way. Number two, most importantly, is going to show up in your life in a very healthy way. So let's add a little bit of motion. Let's add an inhale to shift away, an exhale to bring it back. So we're talking more life lessons today. So as my conversation with Roz Slaughter, you'll want to look him up. For any of you that are parents, he is the go-to for your children, and he will motivate them beyond motivate them. He's absolutely amazing. But as we were talking about parenting, and I am a parent of 5 amazing children, and parenting, there's no parent out there that can relate that it does not come without its challenges. I'm just doing some movement while I'm talking, and then I'm going to, come back to that in a minute. I'm going to take my legs straight up, and you're going to bend or bring your legs over. So you can see I'm slightly elevated on the roller, or if you're on your towel, or if you have your hands underneath your hips. You're just going to hold here and allow the whole back line of the legs to stretch. And now we're going to take it into some scissors. And so, as I was saying, our conversation was around parenting today, but how it, relates to the communication differences from generation to generation, and how we have to start to adapt those of us as parents. I grew up in 60s and 70s and 80s, really, in my childhood, that it's different today. I can't talk to my children the way my parents talked to me. So it's adapting to the changes without losing your truth And usually somewhere along that journey is where we find those hiccups in life that have us, if we want to say, fall off track and kind of get lost, get outside of our truth. And that's when we start to see, dysfunction and disorder show up in our lives, which leads to, an unhappy life and suffering. All right, so now we're going to take our legs straight up, and I'm going down and exhaling back up. Inhale it down, exhale it back up. So I don't know if you've noticed, you guys, but I kind of snuck in just a little coaching talk, a little, if we want to, I don't even like the word self-help, but bringing in more language around how you can explore your truth. And that comes by way of having conversations. I personally don't feel like you can really discover your truth. Well, you can't discover your truth on your own. It all comes by way of having conversation, healthy conversation. Now I'm going into circles. And when you apply healthy conversation and exploration and movement, there, my friends, is the magic. And I'm going to reverse it. And so this is pretty much how I spend a good portion of my day, is exploring, on my own, but also through conversation and through just exchange of movement. And of course, my breath. I've been talking a lot, so I'm not really focusing or sharing the importance of the breath. But I've been doing this for a long time, so I have been breathing in pretty deeply, even though I've been chatting here a little bit more so today. Excellent. And then you're just going to pause here. We're going to do one more just little massage and stretch of the lower back. And reaching over to the other side. We'll finish off today's challenge with one more stretch. Excellent. And then you can rest. All right. So I brought out the support of my foam roller today. I talked a lot about discovering your truth. Discovering your truth by way of movement, by way of conversations, by way of awareness. And when you do that and stand in honor of your truth, you're going to find life start to flow a lot easier. You're going to find all of we were referring to them as arteries today, your underground root system is going to be more nutritious, and it is going to fill you up. And therefore, you're going to start to find more mental well-being in your life. So I'm going to end on that. So on this May challenge for May Mental Health Awareness Month, is today's word is truth and discovering your truth. And move a little bit on your floor, move a little bit through life and have some conversations. Then you're going to find your truth. And then you're going to find life running a lot easier for you. A new operating system. It's a new operating system. So I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Make it an amazing day and discover your truth. Ciao.